Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Dowd here, ready, willing, and able to guide you through the treacherous technological waters. So sit back, relax, buckle your seatbelts, and enjoy the ride. It is April 4th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. 5G is here! Kind of. Verizon launched its first official 5G markets yesterday in Minneapolis and Chicago. Oh, I'm in Chicago. How nice. It all started with a tweet. David Weissman, Verizon spokesman, say that 5 times real fast, posted a video of a speed test on a Moto Z3 with 5G Moto Mod, and faster than you can say, why does this phone exist, we had a download speed of 762 megabits per second and a ping time of a measly 19 milliseconds. Wow! Very prominent in the video is the tower in the background, along with the 5G UWB in the network speed branding at the top of the phone. UWB is short for ultra wideband, or as I like to call it, what bro? So in Sweet Home Chicago, you can get this service in a relatively concentrated area downtown. I mean, it's not tiny, I wouldn't want to walk it, but still. All the neighborhoods it lists, West Loop, South Loop, the Gold Coast, Old Town, River North, are pretty much right next to each other. In Minneapolis, you'll get 5G in Downtown East and Downtown West, and I have to say, Chicago definitely wins the neighborhood naming battle. And what is lucky is that Verizon turned on the 5G network just in time for the men's NCAA Final Four games this weekend in Minneapolis. Isn't that really lucky for Verizon? Wow, so lucky. Now, there are some caveats here, and let's start with availability. It's just the Moto Z3 for the moment with the Moto Mod. Oh, and that mod? That'll be another $200, please. Thanks. Drive through. Which is funny because the Moto Z3 itself is only $240. That's a big ask for a mediocre phone, I'm just saying. We expect to see more 5G-enabled hardware rolling out this year, including the Samsung Galaxy S10 5G in May, but until then, it's still a bit of a waiting game. Also, the 5G video is taken within yards of a tower. Millimeter wave is a directional signal, so we'll have to see how it handles things when, you're in a car or downtown with buildings in the way and not standing next to a tower. Plus, since the tower just got lit up, it's fair to say that the number of devices actually connected to that tower could be counted on one hand, if not one finger. Not exactly a congested network. One of the big selling points of 5G is that it has the bandwidth to handle crowds at a stadium or at a concert or a busy downtown metropolis, so we'll just have to see how things go once more than 2 people have 5G connectivity. Another note is that 5G is only going to be free for the first 3 months. After that, it'll cost you an extra $10 per month in order to use the network. We've talked about this before, but it's worth restating. If it's only $10 a month, just absorb the cost, Verizon. Meanwhile, here I am in a 5G region, and I can't wait to test it out. I've already been in contact with Motorola, so perhaps sometime in the near future I'll be able to bring you some first-hand experience. But for now, I'll stick with T-Mobile as my carrier. And speaking of T-Mobile, Des Smith, who is a PR guy for T-Mobile, and a fun dude overall, by the way, ran his own speed test on T-Mobile from, it looked like a hotel lobby judging by the carpet. I mean, it could be, and probably is, a T-Mobile office, but I'd honestly hope that T-Mobile had better taste in decorating. Anyway, Des's speed test netted him 656 megabits per second and a ping time of 26 milliseconds. I mean, there's a lot of caveats here, too. We don't know what the network is like where Des performed the test, so I reached out. I haven't heard back as of the time this went to air, so I guess stay tuned. In the meantime, let's ping on over to the roundup! Google dropped the second beta of Android Q yesterday, and it's already cleaning up a lot of the issues from the first beta. Notably, you can now choose which direction to swipe to dismiss notifications. Notches don't show up in screenshots anymore, thank God, but the big one seems to be bubble functionality. Bubbles, which apparently is not just a stripper name anymore, are similar to Facebook's chat heads. They're circles that float on top of your apps and allow you to access different apps like Messenger or Google Hangouts or any of Google's other 7 messaging apps. Whoops, I mean 6. RIP inbox. And speaking of new features rolling out, Google Duplex is now out for any phone running Android 5.0 or greater. Google Duplex is a Google Assistant-powered service which can make reservations for you. Doesn't really sound like a big deal, right? Well, it will call the restaurant for you, and in a Google Assistant kind of voice, it will talk to the person who answers the phone and negotiate the time for you. You just tell Google Assistant where, when, and how many people, and it makes the call for you. I just did it, and it was amazing. Now, truth be told, I could just call the restaurant myself, and it would actually probably take less time if I'm honest. But this is just one of those things like wireless charging that feels like I'm using the future, and I'm frickin' giddy as a schoolgirl right now. Security firm UpGuard has unearthed more than 540 million Facebook records on exposed servers run by third-party companies because of course they have. These records included profile information, likes, friends list, photos, and more, and Jesus Christ, Facebook! Now granted, this is 540 million records, not users. Thankfully. Any given person could have thousands of records of their name, but still, Jesus, Facebook! People wonder why I don't go on Facebook anymore. I'm starting to wonder if I should just take that next step and delete my profile. I mean, at this point, I've given Facebook all my stuff, but I'm not even using what it gives me anymore. And by the way, Jesus, Facebook! Oh, Captain, my Captain Marvel just broke $1 billion with a B dollars at the box office, which is really gratifying because of all the misogynistic a-holes out there hoping to see the movie fail because the protagonist had boobs. Don't get me wrong, there were some guys out there who legitimately didn't like the movie, breasts or no breasts, so I don't want to lump them in. Personally, I thought it was an entertaining movie, but not as good as something like Infinity War or even Doctor Strange. Still, the Marvel train keeps on rolling towards Endgame on April 26th, not the 27th because dates are hard. Hospitals are not exactly beacons of modern technology, as anyone who has ever tried to use hospital Wi-Fi can attest. Oh sure, they have big fancy machines that can look inside your body and find a couple of misbehaving cells, but when do you think the last time those things got a firmware update was? And that's the problem that hospitals are having today, specifically with some researchers who pointed out that malware can get installed onto some MRIs and CT scanners and cause doctors to misdiagnose their patients with cancer. That's a scary prospect on several levels, but it just goes to show you that it's one thing to have great tech, it's another thing to maintain it. I'm not specifically talking to my wife here, but I'm kind of talking to my wife here. And finally, next week we are set to see the first photos of a black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and people are wondering what it's going to look like. My guess? Big and black, probably hole-shaped. Of course, no one can take a photo of a black hole, so what we're going to see are photos of the event horizon from the black hole and the chaos that ensues. It should be pretty cool to see, and I'm excited for it. But while I wait for that, that is going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast player. Also, be sure to tell your friends about DigitDailyPod.com. Also, I've been loving the feedback that I've been getting on Twitter. And speaking of which, I am Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.